Hello, this is Eric White with OpenXMLDeveloper.org. In this screencast, I'm going to present the 7 key reasons why the OpenXML standard is important to the world.
First and foremost, it is a standard. It is free to use. It is covered by the Microsoft Open Specification Promise. You can find the text of the Open Specification Promise as well as a list of the covered specifications here. The OpenXML standard documents in detail the elements and attributes that define word processing documents, spreadsheets, and presentations.
OpenXML was first passed as a standard by ECMA in December 2006.
The standard was published by ISO/IEC in November 2008.
You can download the OpenXML standard from the ECMA website. In June 2011, the ISO/IEC released 29500:2011. This is a minor update to the OpenXML standard. The ISO/IEC 29500:2011 is aligned to the ECMA 376 3rd edition. You can download either 29500:2011 or ECMA 376 3rd edition. The contents of these two standards are the same. You can download from the ECMA website at this link, and you can download from the ISO/IEC website from this page that lists the freely available standards. You can find this page here. The OpenXML standard is at the bottom here.
OpenXML was created in such a way that it can accommodate changes over time through the management of international standards bodies. One of the benefits of OpenXML being a standard is that you can easily research the semantics of the various elements and attributes.
You can download this PDF. You can open the table of contents and browse the contents of the OpenXML standard. I spent a lot of time in section 17, Word Processing ML reference material, although I spend plenty of time also reading about Spreadsheet ML and Presentation ML. As you would expect, navigating within the PDF is easy. So for instance, if you navigate and you want to read about paragraphs, you can navigate to the paragraph element. If you want to navigate to children of the paragraph element, such as the text run element, you can find that element in the list of children elements for the paragraph element, and you can click on links to navigate. The second important benefit of OpenXML is its interoperability. Here's a sample document with some formatting and an image in Microsoft Word 2010. Here is the same document in LibreOffice. Here is that document in Google Docs, and here is that same document in ThinkFree-Write. All of these word processors are written using different languages on different platforms. In some cases they are written using C or C++, others are written using Java. You can write programs that interact with OpenXML in a wide variety of languages. The third important feature of OpenXML is backwards compatibility. Users of Office have been accumulating documents for years.
Some time ago, I talked to folks at one company who generated 20,000 documents per day.
They needed to convert many of these documents to OpenXML to make it so that they could light up those documents. They could write programs that would search those documents in a better way. At the same time, it was very important to them to maintain high fidelity between the original binary .doc files and their converted docx files. Here is a pretty elaborate binary document opened in Microsoft Office. We see a lot of features including specialized formatting, tables, and so on. Here is that same document in a docx file. The next important benefit of OpenXML is programmability. There are three main scenarios for programmability with OpenXML. First is document generation. Second is document transformation, and third is data and content extraction. First, I'm going to show you how you can use a tool to build code that generates documents very easily. Here I have a moderately complex OpenXML document. It contains formatted text. This is the Open XML SDK 2.0 productivity tool. I'm going to open that document in this tool. I'm going to click this button, Reflect Code. Clicking that button generates some code. I'm going to copy all of that code to the clipboard. Here is a newly created Visual Studio console project. The only thing that I have done to this after creating the project is that I've added references to the OpenXML SDK and the Windows base assembly. I'm going to paste that code that I just copied, and I'm going to add a main function here. This code creates a new instance of the generated class, which was generated by the document reflector tool, and it calls create package, passing the name output.docx. I'll run this example. As you can see, it runs in no time at all. Here is the document that was just generated. I'll open it. You can see that in no time at all, I generated some code to generate this document. I'm going to show you another document generation example. Here is a template document. In this template document, there are content controls that have particular tags and particular titles. The template document is configured with some XML that is also placed in a content control. This document refers to this data.xml file. Let's take a look at that file. You can see that this XML file has a root element of customers with a number of customer elements underneath it. The template document contains references to that XML file. It also contains XPath expressions that are placed in those content controls that control the document generation process. I can run this example. It runs in about 5 seconds. And in those 5 seconds, it generated about 500 documents. Each document contains data that was extracted from that XML document. You can find more information and download this example here. The next example is document conversion. As part of the Power Tools for OpenXML project, I wrote a program that converts OpenXML word processing ML documents to HTML. It's a relatively small program. If you don't count the utility functions that it uses, it's less than 1,000 lines of code. Here we have a moderately complicated document. It contains images, it contains hyperlinks, it contains a table. It also contains bulleted and numbered lists. We can run the example. And look at the output. The output contains the same image, the same hyperlink, the table, and bulleted and numbered lists. The next scenario to highlight is data and content extraction. Here we have an OpenXML document that an author who is writing content for other developers might write. This document contains some code. Also in the document is the output of this code. A common problem for authors who are writing documents that contain code is validating that after all edit passes, the code still works as advertised. In this document, the code is placed in content controls. Content controls are a feature of OpenXML that enable you to delineate ranges of content in the document. When I run this small example, it extracts all of that code from the OpenXML document, compiles the code, runs the code, and compares the output of the example to the listed output in the document. Let's run the example. This one takes a bit of time because it is building programs, running compilers, running the examples. And when this example finishes, it tells us the pass-fail status of each of those examples in the document. In my opinion, programmability of OpenXML is one of its most important benefits.
It is very important to OpenXML developers that it is a standard and that we can easily research the elements and attributes in the markup.
Integration of business data is a feature of OpenXML that increases its usefulness in a wide variety of scenarios. In a word processing ML document, you can insert content controls, which are a way to delineate text in a document, and you can bind those content controls to XML that is stored in a custom XML part. Let me show you what I mean by this. Here is an OpenXML document that contains a table, and in the second column of this table, although you can't see them right now, are content controls. Content controls contain the data in these cells. We can put Word into design mode, and when we put Word into design mode, it's easier to see the content controls because Word places these begin and end tags around the content in each of the content controls. Let's look at the markup for that document. Here's the markup for the content control. In the markup for the content control, there's an XPath expression that defines where in the custom XML part the data is that should be bound to this content control. And if I open the custom XML part, we can see the XML that is bound to those content controls. The binding is bidirectional. So, for instance, if I decide to remove my middle name right here, I'll delete that and save it. If I reopen the document, you can see that the data in the content control has been changed to reflect the changes in the XML. And if I change the content in the Word document and save the Word document and open up the custom XML part, you can see that the data now reflects the changes that I made in the Word document. There are no restraints on the XML that you can place in this custom XML part. This means that if you have a particular schema that is very important to your scenario, you can embed the actual XML that is important to you in a custom XML part and then bind content controls to that custom XML. OpenXML is more secure than the .doc document format. If you have a document that has the extension docx, you know that that document does not contain macros. Let me show you. I'm going to create a sample document. I'll open it and insert a bit of content. I'll then record a macro. Here is that macro. I'll then copy that macro into the current document, and I'll try to save it. And Word will tell me that a VBA project cannot be saved in a macro-free document. If I want to save this document that has a macro in it, I have to specify that I want to save a macro-enabled document in the File Save dialog box. And if I specify that I want to save it as a macro-enabled document, it will have the extension docm. And finally, OpenXML documents have a smaller file size when compared to binary document files. When I was showing earlier in this screencast how you can convert a binary document to OpenXML with a high degree of fidelity, I showed this particular document. You can see that the binary document is 551K and the OpenXML document is 371K. This is typical for an OpenXML word processing ML document. This feature is particularly important to people who maintain large network file shares and maintain email systems that store documents as attachments. These 7 features make OpenXML an important technology to IT departments and productivity software users everywhere. For more information on OpenXML, come see us at openxmldeveloper.org. There are lots of articles and screencasts on OpenXML Developer, and there's a large group of developers who participate in forums.